So usually when you get sample packs or when you get drum kits like mine, links in the description, I have like this kick right here, right? So let's say you have this kick and maybe someone else buys the same drum kit and they have this kick. Now if you just drop this kick on here and maybe you use it, it sounds like this. And that's fine, but then now everyone has this kick and it sounds the same. But if you want to make it unique to you, you're gonna have to process it and add a little bit of effects and design the sound, because this is mostly a starting point to a kick, not exactly the end of how you can actually use this kick. So this is just a starting point of a kick that you can use. So I'm gonna show you what you would need to do to design this kick to sound nice to you. What you wanna do is come here where it says pre-computed effects and just click on there, and then you'll see there's a boost, EQ, mix, RM frequency, a cut, and resonance switches, and you'll see all these switches come up, and these are the switches that we're going to be using to change the way the sound this kick sounds, or change the way this kick sounds like. So this is the wave of the kick. This is how it looks like down here. And what I like about these is that as you change any of these, you will actually see the shape of your kick change. That's what I actually really like about this. So the first thing you want to do before you actually move anything is to turn on clip. So I'm just going to turn that on, because what we're going to do is we're going to boost the clip and we're going to change how it sounds completely. So if I add a little bit of boost, you can see now the wave is getting much bigger. And if I didn't activate the clip, it was going to really clip and it would damage your speakers, or it would just be like overly loud because we're boosting the kick. So now this is how it sounds without the boost. Now I'm going to add the boost. You can start to hear that it's starting to hit more powerful. It's starting to have a little bit of distortion into it and so forth. So what you can also do when you do this is you can come here to cut. This is like a filter. This is more or less kind of like an EQ. So I'm just going to lower the boost a little bit. You don't want to overdo this. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of cut. And this is going to be adding a little bit of a low pass to the kick. So you can hear that it's clicky, it's got a little bit of attack, but if I drop it down, you just hear just the sub frequencies. But I can put it maybe up here, but you'll find a place where you feel it's so nice. So you can play around with all these controls and really fine tune your kick to sound the way you like it to sound. And you also have this pogo effect that I'm a fan of, especially when it comes to drums. I can just do that, and then it's changing my kick. You can move it the other way. Let me just drop down the boost, cut a little bit more. So you can hear that the kick is no longer the way it was sounding. So this is the kick that we started with. It sounded like that. Now this is the one that we have right now. So now you have a kick of your own. You can even just render this kick out and save it as your own kick if you like it. If you feel like it works at the end of the day and you want to reuse it again, you can save that as is. Now let's move on to the next thing. The next thing is when it comes to hats. Like I can pick maybe a hat like this one, for instance, and then I'll just drop them in there like that. Still using the same kick that we've been using in the beginning. Then you want to send it to your mixer, and then what you want to do is you want to come here to the effects and you want to add a vocodex. Now stay with me here, right? So when you add a vocodex, it's gonna add a little bit of some effects to it. I know this seems very strange why I would add a vocoder to hats, but it will give it texture. You know, there's no rules to making music. It's just up to how it sounds at the end of the day. So listen to how that sounds, and then you can just cycle through the presets. That actually sounds really nice. Now I'm just going to drop the volume down a bit. That sounds nice. And I can actually edit the way this hat sounds if I want to. So this way you can design your sound, your hi-hat, until you find the perfect hi-hat that, you know, fits what you think is good for you. So this way you can actually end up with a really nice sounding hat that you think sounds really nice. And maybe I can add a little bit of some swing to this track. That sounds really nice. Now this is before. It sounds really weak and really plain. But with this vocoder on there, it sounds really cool, right? Now, the next thing I want to show you is if you come here to packs and you come to instruments and you come to keyboard, you can see there's an electric preset that you can drop in here that will open up direct wave, and we have a very nice electric piano patch that's in direct wave. I use it all the time and it's really nice. You know, it's really hard to get really nice mellow electronic patch if you're using FL Studio, unless you buy expensive plugins. But if you don't want to buy expensive plugins, you can use this one because it comes with FL Studio. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw in some chords, like a deep house chord progression that I'm just gonna throw in here, just a random one, just for the sake of this example. I'm just gonna throw it in its own channel, and then I'm gonna play it back so you can hear how it sounds. Let me drop that the same drums that I made recently. Just play that back. Direct Wave is a very powerful stock plugin for FL Studio. You also have some reverb, you also have some delay, and you have so much you can do. You also have some LFO controls that you can play around with to really tune up your sound and have it sounding the way you want it to sound. So you can play around with the decay, add the feedback onto the chorus and put it on there, just to really get the sound to sound how you like it to sound before you even add anything onto the mixer, you know. So stock plugins are really powerful and they are really underrated, and it's just criminal, I promise you, you know. So no matter what keys you play on here, they will sound nice. You know, I'm really a fan of these stable stock plugins of FL Studio. You just have to know how to play around with them. And if you also open this cog, you can find that there's miscellaneous effects that you can find in here. They are pretty cool as well to design your sound. You also have an arpeggiator, and you also have some echo delay. If that's kind of your thing, you can add that if you want to. And you know, you can play around with the time of your arpeggiator. And you also have some levels adjustments. So this is for you to further adjust your sound, because you know you have this volume that you have up here, and sometimes when you adjust this volume, maybe you still want more volume. You can still add more volume and pan over here on this side and this section over here. And you have so much things you can do. You can play around with the pitch of your echo and delay, and you can also change your root note from C to another note if you want to. So you can see here I'm right clicking. I'm not left clicking, because if you left click, you sample the piano roll. But if you right click, that's how you select the root note. So you can change your root note. Maybe if you want to change it and you just want to try a different sound. So this is different ways you can design all these sounds. So that's enough about designing, some design tips that I wanted to share with you. The next thing is a tip that I think is really important when you're making music. I know some of you guys, when you work on music, you don't really worry about mixing and mastering when you're in the composition mode. But one thing that I always do, that I always tell producers to do when they're working on tracks, is go to your mixer and go to your master channel, like the first channel to your left right here, and add a soft clipper. So I'm going to add a soft clipper, and I'm just going to make sure it's on slot 10 so that it's right at the end of everything else that you're going to add over here. So what this do, it's gonna clip everything that is it's gonna clip your whole track. Even if you pump up your kick and raise it up all the way, it'll be clipped at 0 dB so that you're not clipping. So it's just a safety net so that you don't clip, right? And the second thing you want to add is an EQ, a parametric EQ2, and then you want to come into presets and add at 20 hertz plus 18 kilohertz cut. So what this will do, it will just roll off some of that extra frequencies that we cannot perceive with our human hearing, basically. So it'll just cut them off. So keep in mind that we cannot hear these frequencies. However, our speakers and the program itself can hear those that signal or that frequencies if they are in there when you're playing certain instruments. When there's a lot of sounds in your music that have these frequencies, maybe it's hats, maybe it's a synth that has these low frequencies or high frequencies, they will trigger your limiter, or they'll just be there and they'll just cause unnecessary problems in your mix. And sometimes this happens and people don't understand what's wrong with the mixing of their track. They cannot get it right. This is just a good way to just tame and just cut out those frequencies that we cannot hear, because just because you cannot hear them does not mean that they are not there. The computer and your speakers can hear them, but we cannot hear them. They can detect and tell that they're there. So it's just a safety net just to keep on your master to make sure that you're good and safe. So I hope you find these really helpful. These are just random tips that I just put together that I thought would really help you guys out. I think these are really helpful and they'll really improve your workflow. And if you need more help with FL Studio and music production, don't forget to check out the rest of my videos that I have here on this channel. And if you like my content and if you really like what I'm doing here, you can become a member by clicking the join button, and that's after subscribing. And also drop a like on this video to show that you really like this video and show other people that this video was really helpful. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm X and I'm out. Peace.